Welcome. Fourth and 9 to victory. We are about to do our post-game recap of the USC Trojans and Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Unfortunately, our boys, they fought hard yesterday, but came up short. Notre Dame was victorious at Notre Dame Stadium, 34-24. As always, I'm your boy, Fight on Kristen.
I'm the running mate, B. Jinx.
And we want to give a special shout out to our guest, the great Polly Walnuts, that's joining us today. He stepped in yesterday, did a great job. We really appreciate him for helping out Fourth and 9. In my absence, I was at a wedding, but I was watching the game on my phone, so I couldn't be on the live. So we definitely appreciate Polly joining us. And since he was on the live, we did want to bring him back for the post game recap to get his analysis and what he's seen as well on the game. As always, we always like to start off with Victory Sunday. Though we wasn't victorious, there's something that we can be excited about. In this game, we want to look at what USC did well in this game and what we can take away from this game to continue our success and be able to move forward. Put this in our rearview mirror, buckle up our chin straps. And so we will start with you, Polly. What was some things or something that you seen yesterday that USC did well that we need to continue going forward?
It's accountability. The first thing that I noticed immediately was Coach Riley taking accountability for what, making questionable calls here and there. Also, Jacoby Lane, he was accountable by knowing he had missed a pretty great opportunity to help put his team in a great situation, and he came back and made a massive play. And there was a lot of that going around. I think that's one thing about this team. They're young, and accountability was the one thing that I'm looking for as far as growth. And just by hearing some of the interviews, I think they're starting to finally catch on when it comes to accountability.
All right, B.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Paulie said. He was spot on with it. We had a couple players that didn't have so much of a great start to that game, especially in the first half. One of them, one of the young guys that I see, and I hold him in a high regard, is, like he said, Jacoby Lane. He had a couple drops in the first half, didn't go too well for him, but he showed up in the second half. I think he ended up with over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. But there was a few plays in the first half. I know he wished he could have gotten back, but was it that could have been more helpful down the stretch, especially that catch that could have been right there at the goal line for a potential touchdown. Normally he makes that catch, but for some reason, the ball wasn't bouncing his way in the first half, so he did kind of redeem himself in the second half. So again, I'm going to echo what Paulie said, and I'm going to go with the accountability of the player.
Got you. Mine is going to be, this guy's a stud. He came out of nowhere. Wasn't even projected to be a starter. I mean, not being negative, but just looking at the game, the shining bright spot was our kicker, Ryan Sierra. Right?
Oh, yeah.
If he can continue to be clutch and make those big field goals, especially in the element, he kicks on kickoff, the ball is going in the end zone every time. And what we've seen from our kickoff coverage, we need him to continue to boot the ball into the end zone,
right.
Kind of deter people from returning, and just keep doing what he's doing as far as field goes. He's only had one miss this year, but this kid has been spot on. He's been a great shining spot, come from nowhere. We was all expecting the transfer from UNLV to be our starting kicker. He was injured since summer camp, and Sierra has stepped in and been that shining bright, that shining star. So I'm gonna go with Ryan Sierra just to keep doing what he's doing, man, and can't give that kid kudos enough. All right, let's move on to our next segment. All right, so we're going to look at the high level stats of our leaders, right? Just who led the team. We're not going to go in detail about them. Our grades film will come out on Wednesday of this week, where we go by position groups, give them the grades. But we did just want to get some stats from yesterday. Our leaders, Jaden Mava was 22 for 42, 328. had 2 TDs, had 2 interceptions. Of course, one of them interceptions, the game was over. I mean, we had less than a minute. So just trying to do something. His QBR was still 87.5. Our leading rusher was King Miller with 18 carries for 70 yards. His long was 15. The leading wide receiver was Jacoby Lane with 6 receptions for 111 yards, 18 and a half average, had 1 TD. His long was a 59. Mekhi Lemon led the team in fumbles with 1. Desmond Stevens led the team in tackles. He had 10 total tackles, 6 solo, none for sacks, none for tackles for loss. Interceptions, Braley Shelby had her only interception. He led the team with 1 returning for 18 yards. Kick returns, Tanook Hines led. He had 1 for 19. Again, another staggering statistic that we need to get fixed ASAP. No punt returns. So no punt returns. So we like I say all the time, B, we want to see the other team's punter more, right? Than one time a game. This time we didn't see him at all. Our punter, he punted twice, and total his average was 51 and a half. His long was for 59. And actually, we did make Notre Dame return in it. So that's where we're with stats. And we're about to get into the meat of this. I know what everybody wants to talk about. And so let's move on to our next segment. Our next segment, men lie, women lie. Numbers never lie, but they can be misleading. In this segment, we like to discuss and talk about if you didn't watch the game and you just seen a stat, what stat is not telling the whole story of the game or that can be misleading. So, Polly, did you see any from watching the game and a final stat? Did you see a stat that was misleading for you that didn't tell the whole story?
It was definitely Notre Dame's receiving numbers. Really, it was just it was due to the type of defense that we were playing. You know, it inflated their numbers because of those catches they were receiving with a lot of cushion. Other than that, I think their receivers were non-existent. So when I see those 60-something yards and 40-something yards, it's very misleading to me that we were giving that up. I mean, those like I said, those were quick little 7-yard little grabs at each time or stuff like that. But that was very misleading to me.
All right, B.
Yeah. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but numbers can be misleading. For me in that game, as far as, where can I start?
Yeah, I did Notre Dame receiving B because that was a fraud to me, man. They didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do anything, but really they didn't have to.
They didn't have to.
I want to say, what was the time of possession? I want to say probably the time of possession because it just seemed like our defense just couldn't get out the field. Now, whether or not it was because our offense wasn't faring too well, I thought that initially from that first drive, I'll say this: from that first drive, it looked like we were going to be dominant in this game. If you look back, it was an 8-9 play drive. We came down the field. We ended up hitting Lake McCree in the corner of the end zone. I thought we were going to be dominant. I'm just talking about from what the eye test was. But, from the start, their possession, they came out running the ball down our throats, and it turned it into a long night. So I want to say what was misleading was us coming out and me thinking that we were going to be dominant. That's what was misleading to me.
So the amount of yards, right? The stats of the first drive, that's what it sounded like.
Well, I mean, I was hoping that we would be able to get out and run the ball and be as dominant, but the offensive line couldn't open up any holes for us. Our running backs couldn't get started. So 18 carries for 70 yards for King Miller. It sounds right on. Well, actually, I want to say our running game was missing the action, and I guess because of that, the touchdown, the opening drive was, fool's goal, if you ask me. And no pun intended. I understand that we were, playing the Irish, but to me that was fool's goal.
Okay, so we're gonna. It sounds like you're saying the amount of yards we got on the first drive was misleading.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that's the stat. So the yardage in front. All right. For me, the stat that was misleading, if I didn't watch the game, would be Notre Dame final score. It's just like when we played Michigan, Notre Dame should have had a lot more points, right? Missing a field goal, missing the extra point, turnovers in the red zone.
Right.
Looking at the game, the score, and seeing that it was a 2-point game. If I didn't watch the game, I would think we played a lot better than what we actually did, especially defensively. But that final score is not really telling the whole story. We had no answer for them on defense. Couldn't stop the run. Even if we load the box, they had started passing, which made Lynn unload the box and let them run down the field. And again, their kicker struggling. He did the same thing as Texas A&M. They go down and score the game, and he missed the extra point against Texas A&M. That's how they lost their game. But he did it again yesterday, right? Missing field goal, missing extra point, their turnover in the red zone. So the final score, that 10-point win, it was a lot worse than a 10-point win from Rochester. We didn't have no answer. So for me, I'm going to go with Notre Dame's final score was misleading. All right, moving right along. Never accept anything in a win. You win in a loss. Of course, we didn't win yesterday, unfortunately. But we love to do this segment because even in wins, there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. And looking at it from a coach's point of view, these are things down the line that can get you beat. And since we did lose, we definitely wouldn't accept them in the win. So we definitely can't accept them in the loss. So, Polly, what did you see yesterday that you can't accept going forward? That if you're the coach, this is what you're talking to your team about. This is what you're hammering in this bye week that we have to fix ASAP.
It's a mixture of different things. It's there's tenacity, there's consistency. At some point in these young men's lives, they're going to have to come to a point where they need to understand how to flick that switch. There's a lot of nice guys throughout the history of this game. Reggie White, Walter Payton, Troy Polamalu's, that were all able to kind of flip a switch when it was game time and do that. I think right now we're learning how to get punched in the face. We just don't know how to punch back. And these kids are going to have to learn from here on out. They're going to have to learn, you know what, man, the intensity level is going to have to ramp up. The consistency with our tackling, all of it. So basically consistency, aggressiveness, and tenacity. Those are things that we got to play with here on out. There's no more taking whippings like this anymore. So that definitely needs to, if we're going to go out, we go out and we go out on our own terms, not like that.
Got you. And B, I think I heard your rant this morning while I was on the highway driving back from the home. I think I already know what you're about to say, but go ahead. What is it that you can't accept?
It's the toughness, man. For some reason, we have no problem with being tough at home, but when it comes to the road, we go missing. And it starts with the identity of and the personality of the coach. He's a fun-loving coach, but at some point, he's going to have to be become a hard nose. I know it's kind of difficult to change that here, in the middle of his tenure here with the program. But, I've never seen, a group of kids that just don't have any heart on it, especially on the road. I remember a time where, we were calling them undisciplined for hitting back, but now it's like it's accepted now, and for some reason, the referees, they're not calling, these personal fouls when, they catch a player swinging on one of SC players. So for me, if they're not going to call anything, swing back. I would much rather you get a penalty and see, and get in trouble with the coach. At least they know that, hey, look, these guys are not going to be a pushover. So for me, it's the toughness, the mental toughness that comes into play with that. So we need to get tough on the road. So if we're going to be tough at home and a win, I want to see us at least be tough on the road in a loss and not to just lay down.
For me, it's the non-physicality, right? The
Mhm.
offense and defensive line was dominated from the start
Yeah.
yet
Right.
again.
Right.
And to me, it's not a home or a road thing. It's period, right?
Mhm.
What I can't accept is how bad the rush defense has been all year, right?
Right.
We're saying because we play Notre Dame on the road, the reason that we were getting pushed in around is because we can't turn it on the road. I haven't seen it turned on since game one, even in home games. What
Mhm.
happened against Michigan last week is, I mean, Justice Haynes was averaging over 5 yards a carry before he went out. The
Mhm.
other running back was averaging over 4 yards a carry, right? So what happened was, and what's been happening in any other game is that the offense has been playing at such a high level that we've been up 2 and 3 scores, and that stops the other team run, not our defense. I have yet
Right.
to see our defense actually stop and contain someone's run. Even against Michigan, we were we were still giving up 10 and 12-yard runs, right? Big
Right.
gaping holes. Against Georgia
Mhm.
Southern, right? I mean, against Purdue, against Michigan State, against all these teams, even at home,
Mhm.
we were seeing this, but the offense was helping the defense stop the run by jumping out to big leads and forcing teams to go away from the run to try to catch
Yeah.
up to not waste timeout. That's why it's always important. My keys to victory every week, I always say, be as you know.
Right.
Offense jump out to 2 scores and help the defense stop the run because I've yet to see that our defense can do it by themselves. The last thing is turnovers, right? Yesterday we had 3. The week before we had 2. The week before we had 2.
Mhm.
It's starting to become a pattern where offensively we're turning the ball over at least 2 times a game, and our defense is not to that level yet to where we can overcome those mistakes. Unfortunately, the offense needs to be the offense and play on a high at a high level every game for the reasons that I just preferenced,
Yeah,
right?
but okay. I'm
And
sorry.
so
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut in.
yeah, and for the reasons that I just preferenced, right? And I know it's not fair to the offense to say, offense, you have to play this great every week, but our offense has to be able to help our defense stop the run by getting out and getting ahead, and you can't have those costly turnovers. Go ahead, Polly.
No, and the thing is, you look at the turnover factor of it. It's like the last one really was more of a Hail Mary type thing,
Yeah,
but the one with the 2 that we committed, it was I think it was a lack of it was more a schematic thing with the lack of blocking for him, where he's not planting his feet like he normally does when we got Eli and Waymon over there blocking for him. So they're gonna have to make some adjustments with that. I totally agree with you on that.
all right, moving right along. Fight on play of the game. Polly, what was your play of the game?
Oh, my play of the game. Well, there was a couple of them, but the one that really put the final dagger in them, where they were done, we had every opportunity in the world to just finally finish that game off. They were over. The fans were done. Is our touchdown pass to Jacoby Lane right
Mhm.
there? Him redeeming himself like that, coming through like big players should in big time moments. He came, he made that play, silenced everyone. They had that look on their face. They're like, man, no matter how much we beat these guys up, we're done. We can't shake them. They
Yeah.
were sulking. It was over. And
It was over.
so kudos to Jacoby for really redeeming himself and putting us in a situation like that where that was it, man. We should have won that.
And I'm gonna just go on the whim here because now B, I think I might add this to this. So we have the fight on play of the game every week because I think it's very important too that we do this. And then I'll ask you the same thing, B. And probably so that your fight on play of the game goes to our player, right, Mohamed Tulane. What was your game changing play of the game?
Game changing play.
What changed this in your eyes yesterday? What play changed this game?
Or what could it be on
Yep,
could it be good or bad?
yep. Whatever
Okay,
play.
yeah, it was ability to stop any kind of run on first down. I mean, giving those gaping
Well,
5 yards.
you gotta give me a play.
Oh,
So
Play. Okay,
was
it
it
was it was their first run of the game when they came out. Yeah, when they came out and they pretty
you
much.
talk about setting the tone, Paulie, when they
Yeah.
Oh,
set
yeah,
the
that
tone.
was it. That was it right there. I go, oh man, I didn't want to say anything, but I knew in my heart that's not good. And
Right.
And that's right there. That was the play of the game where I knew we were in a world of hurt. We're going to be the struggle for the rest of the game.
And be an interesting fact is that yesterday in the game, you know how I always talk about since game one, how many 4 yards of carry or more that we've been giving up, and that it's over 50. It's almost 60% now of times that teams run the ball to get 4 yards or more. So yesterday, Notre Dame only had 3 plays that was less than 4 yards.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. So on to you, B. Your fight on play of the game, and then what was the game changing play?
My fight on player of the game came from my defensive player of the game that I picked, the impact player for us. None other than Mr. Brady Chevy. Getting the interception, taking it back. What's that?
B. You gotta let us know that was your impact player, huh?
Yeah. I did pick him right. I picked him Brady Chevy, right? So it was none other than Mr. Brady Chevy came up with the big time interception at a crucial point in the game when they were driving. Notre Dame was headed in for another score. I understand that the conditions were unfavorable yesterday. We had all types of things, mounting up against us. I said from the beginning that I felt uneasy about the game. Chris and I talked about it. And I just didn't feel right about that game on yesterday. But for me, it was Braylon Shelby. Now, the game-changing play for us had to be right after Jacoby Lane caught that touchdown, and then for us to give up the kickoff return. Like Paulie said, it had taken the air out of the Notre Dame players. It had taken the air out of the stadium. They were done. They were cooked. They were like, what else can we do? We can't get rid of these guys. We're out here holding. The referees are giving us advantage. We got the rain going for us. And then they score. They go back ahead. And I think we were ahead in that game outside of being up 7-0 from the start. We turn around, get a big time, much needed open, Jacoby Lane, get into the end zone, and then we give up a kickoff return. So for me, that's what changed it. And I think from that point on, we were always playing from behind.
Yep. And mine is one of each of y'all's picks, right? So my player that fight on play the game was Marva Tulane, right? For us to go up, right? That was big time. We had the momentum, the crowd was hushed, and then the game changing play is what B. I'm using what B said was that kickoff return. It took all the air. It took all the air out of us. You can even see us on the sideline. It's like we were in a panic. We were in and then you look and see what happened on the next drive, right? That's when, we'll get to that play call. But, that's when the panic start hitting in, and instead of, that we got to go get it all right now. Right. It was only a 3-point game, though, at that point. But that kickoff return flipped this whole game. We had took their crowd out. We had got Notre Dame, you know what I'm saying? Got them to where, okay, offensively, they would have to start pressing. You know what I'm saying? Now with with coming back again, we led 7-0, then didn't have a lead after that. I don't believe, or I think it was 10-7, and then didn't have a lead after that. But that kickoff return flipped the whole game, man. Interesting fact, it's not the first time. In 2023, that kid ran a kickoff. The same kid ran a kickoff back on us at Notre Dame Stadium. And so that play there, that was it. All right, let's go on to our next segment.
I like that.
The Trojan horse impact players of the game. So give me an offensive player. That was your impact player. So your MVP, Polly, and one on defense.
Okay, so my impact player is a little different on the offensive side, and I'm going with Walker Lyons. And the reason is because he was affecting the game in so many ways, where guys were hanging on him for dear life because he was getting away from him. His route running, he was causing a lot of problems. We just didn't get him the ball a lot like we probably should have. I mean, there was a lot of situations where it just wasn't right for Jaden. But my defensive impact player of the game, obviously, we all saw Jaden do it, but it was it's a tough one. But I'm going to say Marcellus Williams. I like the way the kid played. I like the way he bounced back. He played, and him. If I could pick two, it'd be him and Nicholson. But I'm going to give Sell some love this time because Nick, they both were playing with fire.
You a guest, Polly, so we'll give you 1A and 1B. You can go.
Okay, yeah. I like the fire that they brought. They were the only ones that brought a gun to the fight, man. Everybody else was over here rubbing two sticks together, and these guys were over here, man. These guys were over here, man. They were in that fight, man. They were there. Nicholson was getting pancaked, man, and he got up, and he was still talking trash, man. I'm like, that's my boy right there. And same with Celis, man. But you know, I've had enough of seeing these guys on our back, man. I got Gentry on his back, Desmond on his back. Everybody was on their back, and I don't want to see that anymore. But
B,
those
what
two
we
guys,
call that? B, what we call that?
What you call it? Cockroach? Yeah, they always.
All right, B, what's your Trojan horse impact players of the game, offensive defense?
Of course, for me on the offense, none other than the best wide receiver in college football, Mr. Jacoby Lane. What was it? What do you have? 5-6 catches for $111 and a touchdown, and he redeemed himself in the first half. He dropped a couple passes. It didn't look like him. He didn't look like the same receiver that had been at SC making those big time plays over the past 2.5 seasons. So for him to come out in the second half, shake that off and get right back to business, get right back to usual. I'm hoping with the bye week that he's able to fully get to 100% and come out, because I got a feeling, and then we'll get into this, I got a feeling that we're going to see more coverage of Makai from other teams the same way that Notre Dame did. So we need Jacoby to get his head back into the game. We needed Jacoby from old. So for me, on offense, it's going to be Jacoby Lane, and on defense, again, none other than the impact player that I picked before kickoff on yesterday, Mr. Braylon Shelby, coming up big time with that interception down inside the red zone.
Hey, B gonna let us know when he chose him.
Right.
All right. So for me, this is kind of going to be off the wall a little different. But for me, offensively, I consider it an offense, right? Because to get his points, I'm going back with Ryan Sierra. Everybody else on offense that I looked at, I couldn't get out their negative plays, right? That I wanted to say Jacoby, then I think about the touchdown and other passes he dropped. Wanted to go with Maava, but then think about that crucial interception, right? Layman, Tanook, right? But like everyone had some things, that made me go, but then they didn't come through with this and that. And so I'm going with Ryan Sherry, because again, he's a stud, man. He's been a godsend. I don't know how they found this kicker, and like again, he wasn't even supposed to start, and he's been doing what he needs to do this year, and he was the bright shining spot, even on the kickoff, what I'm saying, he kicked it in the end zone. That kid brought it out 100
or
100.
He brought it back out. He did his job. He did his job. Yeah,
he did his job. So I'm not going to hold him against that. I put that on another 10. Defensively, it was not good, right? And so right. I couldn't give it to anybody. So I'm doing something for the first time ever on 4th and 9. My defensive player, my Trojan horse impact player of the game is going to be Notre Dame's offensive coordinator, because he kept us in the game, right? Because he would get to the red zone and then he want to get pretty and start trying to throw the ball when they
or their field goal kicker. One of the two.
I couldn't do two though. I have both of them. I couldn't do two. I couldn't do two though. I have both of them. But the field goal kicker, that's 4 points, right? The offensive coordinator, he left about 14 on there, because even on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, they was running the ball and getting the first down. And he would get to the red zone and go away from the run. It's no way, if I was Notre Dame, I just wouldn't hand the ball off every play, because at no point we proved that we can stop it or do anything about it to even hold them, under 6-7 yards of carry. And so I'm gonna give our defensive impact player of the game to Notre Dame's OC, because he kept us in this game with his play calling and getting too pretty down there when they could have just easily ran the ball in. All right. It is that time. It's time to go through our down segments. It's first down. Polly, what was the biggest challenge you think USC faced yesterday during this game?
It was their the biggest challenge they face in the game, offensively or defensively.
Whatever the biggest challenge, whichever one, whatever you think was the biggest challenge that they faced.
It was the biggest challenge was, I'm not going to say bouncing back from adversity because there was a lot of guys that really kept us in that game. Like Jaden throwing that bomb, and certain players that making big clutch first downs. Walker Lyons one time. You had Tanook Hines. You had guys like that. But the biggest challenge, obviously, was it was lack of getting any kind of consistent running game. Man, that was a major disappointment to me. That right there affected everything. It's opened my eyes that a certain running back of ours is more a north-south type kid, really doesn't have a whole lot in that bag of tricks, but it was the lack of push, the lack of everything, and it goes to really open my eyes and make me wonder that these undersized guys are good when it comes to bringing great positive energy, good technique and stuff like that, but in the Big Ten, it's almost to a point now where you got, man, do we really need to really have 300+ pound guys in there, in order to make this work? And because that lack of explosion and getting blown off the line was really shocking and kind of scary to me, man, to see that.
Got you. All right, B.
For me, man, it's going to be production at running back. I understand that our offensive line didn't have the best of days that they had. Typically, let's go back. At the beginning of the season, we didn't think that they would be that good, but they surprisingly they have been good. Yesterday they weren't that good for to open up any holes, any lanes for our running backs to get through. But for me, it's the running backs, the production at running back, and I think it's going to be an issue for us going forward. We've lost our 2 starting running backs in Waymo and Eli Sanders, and right now we got a redshirt freshman in there with not much experience, and another running back in B-Jack that may or may not be 100%. I know we understand he may have been on a pitch count on yesterday, but these are the 2 backs, including a true freshman, Harry Dalton, that we're going to have going forward. So Riley's going to have to become very creative because right now it's like we're so close to having no running backs at all right now. If you ask me, I don't know what they're going to do as far as like who they going whether or not they're going to come in and start B-Jack next week if he's 100%. But for me, in my opinion, I would start B-Jack because he's going to have the most experience, especially in the pass blocking area.
All right. The biggest challenge we faced yesterday for me was Notre Dame's trench play. That was the game. They dominated us on the offensive line and the defensive line, right? We know King Miller can run the ball if some holes is open, but they dominated the trench play. Wasn't nothing open. Our defensive line, our front 7 and linebackers, Notre Dame's offensive line dominated the trenches. That was the biggest challenge we faced. We failed. We didn't have an answer for it on either one. I mean, Notre Dame's defensive line was stopping our run with just 4 guys, just a 4-man rush. They were pressuring Maiva all night in his face. The rush is getting there with just 4 guys. That's 4 on 5, right? It was Notre Dame's trench play. That's where the game was won and lost to me, was in the trenches. Offensive and defensive line got whipped all night. And we didn't have an answer for it, right? Defensively, it's tough to call plays when your front 7 is getting blown up. Offensively, it's hard to get any type of rhythm to call any type of plays where 4 people are able to stop your run and pressure your quarterback, and you can just drop 7 back. That's how they was able to do a cloud cover over limit and double limit because they were able to beat our front with just 4 people. If we could have ran the ball, we would have ran them out of that, and Lemon would have been, 1-on-1, and all our guys was like they didn't have to blitz. Yeah, they didn't have to blitz. Yeah. It was just 4 guys.
Can I add something to that, Chris, real quick? That I noticed. Let me add something real quick. On the outside, they had their front 4 true. We Notre Dame on the rush 4, but on the outside, their DBs, their cornerbacks were physical with the receivers right there at the line of scrimmage. I mean, time the ball was snapped, their DBs were hands-on with our receivers. So anytime you disrupt or slow down the progression of the receiver from getting upfield or getting into his route, you're gonna have time for those front four to get there, especially in those conditions that we played in. And for the life of me, I understand, you've broken it down before as far as the reason why we don't play press man on the outside. But yesterday, Notre Dame didn't care. They played press man. They were physical. Those DBs were holding in the first half, but they got their hands on our receivers.
They held all game. I told
Yeah,
you going into the game they're gonna hell. But
right.
that comes down. They were allotted to do that because they had people cloud on the back. And so if they press man got beat, they had protection back there because all they had to do was rush forward. They had four to stop the run. They didn't have to put any other bodies up there, a safety or anything like that. It all starts. If you look at any Super Bowl team, any championship college team at Ohio State last year, what do they all have? A dominant front four, and they're a team who can get there with four and get penetration and stop run. Because that way you don't have to blitz. You don't have to bring safeties and things up. And now you can drop people in coverage and cloud the quarterback's vision, and yet your front four is still getting there. But yeah, the biggest challenge to me that we faced yesterday was Notre Dame's trenches, which is a surprise. Their best defensive lineman didn't play. The way our offensive line has been playing all year, this is the first game because even against Illinois, our offensive line didn't get whipped, right? That was on the defensive side. This is the first game that our offensive line has gotten beaten like that. But it was the offensive side and the defensive side. It was just the physical trench play on Notre Dame, and it was too much for us, and we didn't do anything about it and couldn't do anything about it. I believe if we could have, we would have. But yeah, trench play is not schematic. Trench play is this. It's hard. Do you got it? You're not gonna push me. It's like you said. You're not gonna hit me in the face.
Yeah, and I keep taking it. Right,
man.
What you say? This is football. This is not the Bible. Don't put another cheat.
Right. Hey, Chris, I just wanted to jump on your point about trench play.
Yes,
when
sir.
Elijah Hughes, when he's over there and he's smacking us around and getting the backfield, I'm thinking as an offensive lineman, what am I doing here? I used to pancake this guy all day long at practice.
That's the thing. He wasn't doing that for us. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm saying as an offensive line, I would have taken offense to him. I would have smashed him right there, man, and go remind him of why he had to transfer. And that's a lack of. That's the I want to see more accountability from these guys.
No, it's a lack of toughness, Paulie. It's a lack.
Yeah, they got to learn how to flip that switch. They have to,
yeah.
And they're young, and hopefully. But you look at the last two teams that have beat us up. They're senior-laden teams, meaning veterans from top to bottom, guys that have, their careers on the line. They're ready. They want to go out a winner. They're tough guys. They're men, and it's so I'm hoping we take this and we learn from it. But I'm with you on the trench play, man. I'm with you.
And I think we all said the same thing, just in different words, right?
Yeah.
Beast toughness. I say, physicality, trench play. You say aggressiveness. All fall under the same umbrella, right? We need it. We need it. Got to develop. Got to get it. All right.
Man.
It's moving right along. Second down. All right.
You got
Paulie, what did you learn?
Third, Chris. You got it on third.
I'm sorry. Let me just go back one.
And I was saying, is a Big Ten official doing this right here? What's going on? How do we go from second to third? Okay, second down. Let's go.
What did you learn, if anything, about this USC football team from the game versus Notre Dame, and what do you think this team's ceiling is this year at this point in the year? Do you think we? So, what did you learn about the team, and what do you see as far as our ceiling going forward for this 2025?
What I learned? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was that last part?
I was gonna say, you think we're gonna win out? We got a couple more losses. As far as what you know today and what you've seen. So what did you learn from this team, and what do you think our ceiling is at this point in the season?
So what I learned that we have the ability to stay in games no matter what. There's no Stanford blowout, 51-point blowout losses here. There's no big time losses. We're not getting blown out. We have the ability to stay in games. We just need to learn as a young group, because these are young kids, still learn how to really learn how to win these close games. You look at Jaden Mayava. This is really Jaden's big time football experience. I don't count the Mountain West stuff, man. It is what it is. But you know what, man? I could probably start for one of those teams. I'm talking. This is his first experience now, and these guys are learning how to take it to that next level. What I'm learning is that we still got a lot of improvement to do. This is just a phase of where we're at, but we're on the right track, I think, and we just got to keep improving game after game. That's all it is. Learn from our mistakes. We obviously have issues. Everyone knows it. It's just a matter of keep working at them and keep improving and finding the right chemistry. Who's going to be the one that's going to step up and take over some of these positions?
Yeah, man. That's a good point to how young we is. Defensively, the only seniors that play on there is Nicholson, Silver, Fitzgerald, and Gentry.
Yeah.
So theoretically, Rams he could come back, right? And last year he would have went higher than probably what he's going to go this year. This year has been a different year for him because he's playing out of position.
Right.
He can come back if he wants to. Offensively, everyone can come back outside of Eli Sanders. So again, our day we don't know. I would definitely like them to say, "Hey, we want to come back and do this thing." Maybe
come back.
But we'll see. But like you said, Paul, I was just making known that what you said, how young we are.
Yeah.
All right, B. Okay, you already got the question?
Yeah, I already got it. I learned that we definitely got the talent to get in there and compete. It's like Paulie said, we just got to know, hey, look, you turn this thing on and never turn it off. And all it is confidence. You go out on the road, have the same confidence that you had, at the house when you were whooping up on Michigan. And you and I talked about this as far as like me giving the pep talk, Chris. Remember, I said to them, hey, look, remember the past, but don't live in it. Notre Dame is not going to lay down for you. And for the last 3 seasons, they've been bullying you. That should not have happened at all. So again, we have the talent. A lot of someone was asking me the question, do I think it's a talent issue? No, it's not a talent issue. It's a toughness issue. I've learned that even though with all of that stacked up against us, we still had an opportunity to win that game. Notre Dame was trying to give it to us in the second half with the field goal kicker missing 2 critical field goals. All we had to do was get down and get into that end zone like we know how to do. So we just got to get back to what we know how to do. That's getting into the end zone. Now, as far as defensively, I learned that, hey, look, we're used to taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. We like doing that on defense. For some reason, our coordinators, we know what's effective for us. Hey, look, you got to sell out. And you and I talked about it also, Chris. You mentioned it too yourself. Hey, look, won't we just sell out to stop the run? And if the quarterback beat us, he just beat us. But we can't give up that many yards on the ground, especially to one player.
Nope.
So I learned that our defensive staff is going to take 1 step forward and 2 steps back.
Got you. For me, Paulie, you didn't give what was your ceiling for the year. Neither did you, B.
Ceiling. Okay, so my ceiling for the year is I'm a positive guy, and the reason is in the industry I work in. Let me tell you, man, it's a cutthroat. You're all by yourself on an island, man. You either sink or you swim, and let me tell you right now, the attitude that a lot of the fan base, a lot of people, to me, I don't understand it. I think we have the talent to go into Oregon, and we have the talent to win that game. They're already putting dirt on us saying it's impossible. I'm not buying that. I'm buying that we have the ability to go into we have yet to be blown out. Really. We've been dominated. We haven't been blown out. But they're putting dirt on us already on these road games. And I think we have the ability to go to go clean house the rest of the season. I really think we have that talent to do that. And I'm hoping this is a springboard to finally get us in there. This last little bit of embarrassment, the way we got beat up on national TV a little bit, I'm hoping this will kind of wake up a sleeping giant, I guess you could say.
Got you. And B, what about your ceiling?
My ceiling too. Oregon doesn't look too dominant to me. Indiana showed that you can go up into Eugene and beat them. My ceiling is 10-2. My floor is 9-3. Anything less than 9-3 is going to be unacceptable. We got Nebraska on the road. Hopefully, we can pull that one out. I watched that part of that game that they played against Minnesota, to where Minnesota's defense was physical and dominant. And and again, when you talk about attitude and just being consistency and being consistent and being dominant, all it is just a frame of mind, a mindset. You go into the game, hey, look, we're going to dominate and actually execute. So for me, that game up in Eugene is winnable. That game in Lincoln, Nebraska is winnable. And then we got 3 more games at the house. We got Northwestern at the house. We got Iowa and UCLA at the house. All 3 of those games at the house, those are W's. They better be W's. But right now, my ceiling is 10-2. My floor is 9-3. Anything below that, you're going to start to really hear some conversations about, the lead in charge. Believe that.
All right. So what I learned about USC yesterday, well, can't say I learned it yesterday. I've been talking about it since week 1. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the run. Schematically, all that, we're in game 6 and 7, and we still can't stop the run. It's not going to happen overnight, right? It's not going. I don't think that issue is going to be able to be fixed this year if it hasn't been fixed. And we've been seeing bad gap integrity, defensive line. You know what I'm saying? Our saving grace, what it has to be again, is that offense is going to have to jump out and help our defense stop the run by making teams go against the run. What I learned about USC yesterday, anytime we're in a close game like this, it's going to be hard for us to win because we can't stop the run and teams can stay balanced. Right? They can, when you're running the ball for 4+ yards, Notre Dame was averaging almost 10 yards a carry in close games. Those are the things that it makes it hard to win because your offense is not getting the ball back, especially if the offense make a mistake on one of their drives. I mean, they're just going to run the ball. I also learned that, yes, we have talent. We have a lot of holes on this team, especially defensively wise, right? Not calling any names out, but the portal this year, and we need to try to get grade A big defensive tackles, right, and linebackers. That's going to be a big need in the offseason. That's going to be a big need in the offseason because when the defensive line is being in a stalemate and not getting pushed back, linebackers are not shooting the right gaps. Linebackers are thinking, or they're a step late, right? And the running back is already to the second level. And we've seen this all year. And so we have talent, but we have hope. We have deficiencies. We have holes that needs to be plugged. What also I learned is that, like I said, if offense don't play at a high level every game, it's going to be hard for us to win, right? We know that from all year. If offense don't hop out to a double-digit lead in the game, I don't see us winning a close game because defensively we're not able to get off the field, or we're not able to stop the run. So the offense has to. What we've been saying since week 1, the offense has to carry this team. This is the first game that the offense didn't come out and play at a high level. And B, what I always say, even at the beginning of the year, is too much to ask for an offense to play at this type of level every game. At some point, your defense has to be able to win you a game. And we're not, as a program, we're not there yet, right? The offense didn't have their best stuff yesterday. And, and definitely when you're in a situation like that, you can't give up points on special teams. You can't do that stuff because right now we can't overcome that, right? We have talent, but we have some holes on this team. As far as the ceiling, I think our ceiling at this point is 9-3 or 8-4. I mean 9-3 and the lowest 8-4. This is why Oregon's offense and defensive line. Their offensive line is going to be big, pregnant in them. Their offensive line is going to be big. I can't look at what Indiana did against Oregon and say we can do that because Indiana is a totally different team than us, and they have a totally different up front and linebackers. They are totally different than us. The same way when we're like, oh, Indiana did this against Illinois, and we weren't able to come out and replicate not 1% of what they did, is because we don't have the personnel that they have across the board up front in that front seven. So Oregon is going to be a tough out because Dan Lanning will run the ball. Dan Lanning will go for it on every fourth down, right? No matter if it's on his sideline. And our defense is already struggling enough to get off the field in 3 down. And now we'll be playing a team that gives us 4 downs, right? 2 other games that scare me, Iowa, because Iowa play good enough defense that they can slow our offense down and make it tough on us, and they want to run the ball. So that's time possession, and their defense make enough stops. If our offense, again, don't come out and hop out on Iowa and make them abandon the run, it's going to be another long game like this Notre Dame and Iowa where it's close. The other game that scares me and no one's talking about is the UCLA game. Why does the UCLA game scare me? 1, it's a rivalry, and 2, they're 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. Why? Not only are they running the ball, but now they're running the quarterback even more. And for a team who can't stop the run, that's going to be tough to defend for us. And so I think our ceiling at this point is either 9-3 and the floor is 8-4. I hope I'm wrong and we can go on the run. Now, do I agree that Oregon is a winnable game and all those games are winnable? I do. Do we get it done? Right now, if we had to go to Eugene tomorrow, I don't think we get it done. But thank God we don't go to Eugene for another month, right? So we have some time to clean things up. I tell you my opinion on that game if we win or not when we get there. But that's where I'm at, and that's my floor, and that's my ceiling as of right now from what I'm seeing. All right. Moving right along to 3rd down. Polly.
Yes, sir.
The wide receiver reverse pass in the rain, down 3, the trick play. Was this did you have an issue with this play call? If so, why? If not, why?
You know what? I don't have an issue with it. And let me tell you why. The fact that our coach was being able to hold himself accountable and say that, you know what, I messed up on the call. But at the same time, you know what, when you're put in a situation like that, just like in the game of basketball, who are you going to put the ball in the hands of, Michael Jordan or John Paxson? You're going to put the ball in Mekhi Lemon's hands, one of the dominant players in college football, and see if he can make it happen. Was it a bad decision? Obviously, yeah, it was a bad decision. But one thing about it that I don't like is this man being ripped apart for a decision he made. Coaches make impulsive decisions. If you look through history of any kind of football, I'll tell you one right now, Mr. Pete Carroll blowing one of the biggest games on a 4th down when we had Reggie Bush on the thing, and you could have pinned them deeper in the thing, but you want to run Landell on a 4th, we get stuffed. They had momentum. They stuffed us. That was a big loss right there. Coach Bill Belichick against Indianapolis. Tom Brady, they throw it to Kevin Falk in the flat, and he ends up getting stuffed. Doesn't make the 4th down. Indy comes back and wins. It's part of football. Impulsive decisions get made sometimes, and it happens. You know what? The man made it. He was accountable for it. He knew he had messed up, but you know what? It happens. I'm okay with it.
All right, B, on to you. Well, hey, I know how you feel. Come on, give it to us.
Well, again, you know, we talked about it during the live. I just don't see the need to take the ball out of your quarterback's hands to give it to a wide receiver to throw it. Now, if Jaden had issues hitting receivers down the field, receivers couldn't get it open, and we need to spark another way, then I would say, well, maybe it was an okay play. But at the time, Jaden had 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception at the time. And he had just hit Mekhi Lemon on a 40-yard pass. So how do I get the ball into my playmaker's hand, the best player on the team, which I can't say that. He is the best player on the team. You move him around. You bring him out of the backfield, send him into motion. I've seen Riley put receivers in the backfield before. Put them in motion out of the backfield. Get them lined up on a slower linebacker or safety. You do anything but give it to him to pass in the rain at a crucial time like that, especially if your quarterback is moving the ball through the air. So offensive line didn't have the best day out, but one thing I know that Jay Maava was doing was escaping the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and hitting the receivers. It wasn't his fault that our receiver, one of our star receivers, was dropping the ball. That wasn't Jay's fault. So I don't take the ball out of my quarterback hands, give it to a wide receiver who may pass the ball once or twice per season, especially in a crucial time like that. So sure, and Chris, you alluded to him passing the ball at UCLA in the rain on last season. Again, Jaden had less than 200 yards passing. He was having issues with hitting our receivers until the last touchdown with Jacoby Lane in the corner. But on yesterday, Jaden was delivering that ball. The receivers weren't catching the ball, mainly Jacoby Lane. But no, I don't take the ball out of my quarterback's hands. I let him continue to read through his progressions and hit those receivers.
All right. Me, I didn't have an issue with the play call, and there's a lot of reasons why. One was the inconsistency of the offense and offensive line and how hard it was to get anything going consistently. It was either big play or nothing, right? And we just had a big play. The offensive line was getting beat in the trenches. Jaden was getting pressured every time. We couldn't do anything on the ground. I think the play, I didn't have an issue with it because of what just happened, right? That Lemon hit them for a big bomb over the top, right? Everybody's been paying attention to Lemon all day. They know he's the guy we want to go to. So Riley's thinking, all right, here's the time that we can hit them, because as soon as they see Lemon come on reverse, everybody's going to come up, which they did, to try to stop Lemon, and we should be able to hit it over the top. I don't have an issue with it because Lincoln Riley has been aggressive all year, and everybody has praised him for his trick play at Illinois and where he normally likes to run, where we're at about midfield, right? Going forward on fourth down and things of that nature. He did what he's been doing all year with being aggressive. Those fourth down calls, fourth and inches, do I say lean forward? Yes, but I'm just saying as far as going forward, he was being aggressive as he's been all year, and everyone's been praising him over. And again, we were in the same situation last year at UCLA where the offensive line was spluttering. We couldn't get anything going. We went down on a game-winning touchdown drive, and what sparked that was that we ran that same play to Makai Lemon, and he had Kyrie Hudson, got all the way down to the 10, 5-yard line, and then we scored a couple of plays later. So we've seen Makai Lemon run this play. We've seen him do it and execute the play. And so I don't have an issue with Riley calling this and saying, you're the best wide receiver in the country. You're the best player on our offense. I trust you to make the right decision. At that point, when Lemon got the ball, he still had 2 or 3 seconds, right? He was back there looking. Lemon should have known to either throw it away out of bounds or to just go down or run out of bounds. And if you're looking at it, the rain had nothing to do with the fumble. What had to do with the fumble is how he was holding the ball with one hand and the defender just hit it out. So the rain had nothing to do with it. It was ball security. So I don't have an issue. And Lemon's a great player and he'll bounce back. Things happen, right? And so I don't have an issue with him calling that play.
Yeah, well, I feel you, man. I feel you, especially the ball part too, Kristen.
Say it one more time.
I feel you, especially the ball security part of it. It wasn't the rain that made him lose that ball.
I knocked it out of his hand here in one hand.
Yeah, it was the way he. I honestly, I thought he was trying to shove it out because he thought he was closer to the line there, and I thought he was trying to get it out of bounds, and misread how far it actually was. But I don't know. I got to look at it.
And this is going to be one of the things at the end of the year we're going to be talking about. Even when we do a show, what was the biggest controversy amongst the fans? It's going to be this. It's going to be the scoring against Illinois.
Because if they complete that pass, oh my God, Riley's
back to Lincoln Riley dialing it up. He's
he's ready. Yeah. Oh Lord.
But what's amazing is that it's some things as fans we give for USC, we give passes to, and other things we don't.
We don't.
Like when it came to the defensive line against Illinois, and I'm saying we have an issue. It would not be with stopping the run since game one. Right. It was we were sick, but it was also that if you see these guys doing this in all these other games, and this is just one game, they were getting the benefit of the doubt defensively, right? So you've seen Riley be the mastermind, dialing up. The offense as a whole had a bad game, right? So why are we not giving that same benefit of doubt? Like, so it seems like they pick and choose what they want to pick apart. But I can say this: when a defense is getting pressure with 4 and shutting down your run with 4 and dropping 7, play calling gets a whole. That comes down to what we were saying in the Illinois game. Remember, B, that schematically, right. What can you do when you get whipped up front? Right? There's no defensive call.
You can't do much.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. All right, let's go into 4th down. Man, unfortunately, we don't know, right? Unless B got a crystal ball over there can tell us. This might be the last game of USC and Notre Dame just in our regular rivalry, unless we beat in a playoff or something special. So B, it's a 3-part. I mean, I'm sorry, Paula, we start with you, I guess. How rude of me. It's a 3-part question, right? What was your greatest USC and Notre Dame memory of all time? The second part of it is, do you want USC and Notre Dame to continue and play? And then the third is, do you think USC and Notre Dame will continue to play?
Okay, the first one is my greatest memory of all time. Is obviously, I know it's what, 97 when Ron Paulus threw the interception. I think it was that 97? I can't remember. But Ron Paulus threw the interception. So. Yeah, Cusano, whatever had the linebacker. He got that. I remember watching that on TV. But then, but to be honest with you, the one that's more special to me was Jared catching that ball, man. At South Bend, and with one eye, and that was my greatest memory there. And the second part of what's
that? What was the down the distance when Jared caught that ball?
It was 4th and 9, man.
Right.
It was 4th and 9, folks. All right, I'm starting to get fired up now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know what, man? And the second part of the question was,
do you want USC and Notre Dame to continue?
Of course, I want it. I'm a believer in rivalries. I'm a believer. Do I think that they need to just enough's enough already? Stop spoiling them, NBC and NCAA. Put them in a conference already. Throw them in the ACC for now. Something needs to happen with that. But yeah, I do think that I do like the rivalry. It's a shame when I saw the Big East fall apart in basketball. That absolutely, I think I almost cried, man, because that Big East meant so much to me as a kid growing up watching Big East basketball. And so for us to lose this, and you know what? Right now, a lot of fans, they're just down on the whole thing. I don't care less. I care. You know what? It's a type of rivalry when it's gone, just like Stanford is, just like Cal is. You're gonna miss it. So I definitely want it back. Do I think it's gonna come back? Yes, I do. I really do. I think there's no way around it. They're gonna keep it somehow, some way. There's too much money being made on it, and ultimately it comes down to the corporate dollar. They're gonna go ahead and they're gonna keep it alive.
Got you. B. James.
Well, for me, since Paulie did take mine.
Yours?
Yeah, he took mine.
You probably about to take mine then. That's why I didn't take. That's why I didn't.
I doubt it. I'm going to go back.
That's why I didn't go with that one, because I assumed you was going to go with. I thought Paulie was going to go back. He is a historian. He be bringing out.
I was gonna go 1931, but I said I'll go 97.
No. And then I thought you were. I thought you were going to do.
For me, it's going to be USC Notre Dame 2007, October 20th, 2007. You got Mark Sanchez at the running the helm. Joe McKnight playing in that game, and USC beat the absolute daylights out of Notre Dame, 38-0. So for me, it's going to be that game right there. Rest in peace, Joe McKnight. He passed a few years back, but again. That was one of the times I can remember when USC had a dominant defense. One of the last few times that USC really had a dominant defense, to go in to blank a team like Notre Dame with the history behind them, and they don't score one single point. That's when they had pride and toughness about themselves. So that's why I picked this particular game as one that I'll always remember. Sure, I like the 4th and 9, the famous check down, but since my morning rant about toughness, I had to reference back to that game right there, man. We had some hard-nosed linebackers: Ray Maluga, Brian Cushion, Clay Matthews, Keith Rivers. It just gave me pause to think about what exactly we had along that defensive line. So not only that did we have Cedric Ellis on that defensive line, we had some linebackers that would come fill those holes, without hesitation, man. And then and what's funny is we didn't have the all-star defensive staff that we have right now. At that time, Ed Elgeron had already left. I think he was maybe at Ole Miss.
Had the players though.
Yeah, we had the players exactly. But what the players had was they had the attitude though, Chris and Paulie. And that's what we're missing right now. We're missing that attitude that, hey, look, these guys shouldn't even think about being on the field with us. So for me, it's going to be that game, that 2007 game, where we beat Notre Dame 38-0.
I'm with you on that. And you know what? When talk about attitude and talk about toughness, I mean, you look at that 97th. You got a kid that's when they wore the big shoulder pads. Remember the linebackers and the big giant shoulder pads. And there was Melvin Simmons, and there was Gruda Good, and all these guys. Man, they're really great, just tough football players, man.
Yeah.
So I get the chill. I get the chills when I talk about those days.
Yeah, for me, as far as do I want to see it continue? Only if we don't have to go to South Bend, man. I can't stand that place. I don't know which place I hate worse, South Bend or Eugene, Oregon. So
that's not gonna happen.
Right. But do I want to see it continue? Yeah, for the very same reason that they bullied us the last 3 seasons, man. We got to get our lick back. So no, they just can't go out like this. They got to renew the contract, do whatever they got to do, but we got to get our lick back, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want it to continue. Yes, I do.
And do you think it will continue?
If the money right, it'll continue. If the money is right, it definitely will continue. So they just got to get that ironed out and what part of the season they want to play in. Notre Dame wants us to come there and play while it's cold. We want to play it early in the season when it's warm. So if they can get that part down, then I believe it will.
All right. So for me, my greatest memory is going to be that same 4th and 9 game, but I'm going with the Bush push. And I'm going with the Bush push because that's the year that we beat Notre Dame and we were fighting for something, right? We was the number 1 team in the nation. We had, this is when we were in our peak in the Carroll days, right? We have national title on the mind, and so I'm going to go with Bush push. Do I want the game to continue to play? I do, for the simple reason what B just said. I don't want Notre Dame to beat me last. Forever they'll be saying we beat you the last 3 times we played. I mean, right now I don't have anything I can say to a Notre Dame fan. They've been owning. You know, like
right.
I don't. Well, back in the day, I don't know if you ever, used to shoot dice, but when you win, they be like, "Hey, you can't win the league. Get back down." You're a chance win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I definitely wanted to continue playing. I don't want it to end like this on 3 straight losses. Will they continue to play? Matt, I do not believe so. And the only reason I say that is because they've been in talks for how long now, trying to get on the same page. And I don't know if either side wanted as much as they're saying they wanted, because nobody wants to budge.
Yeah.
Like if both sides really wanted it, they should be able to meet somewhere in the middle. Okay, Notre Dame, you want a longer contract. Okay, we'll give it to you. USC, let's play early in the season. Let's make it week 1, a classic week. You would think Notre Dame like, okay, well, you gave us a longer contract, then okay, we'll give you that, right? Before we get into conference play and all that type of stuff. But to be honest, if I'm USC and I know you don't want to set a precedent or keep giving in, I want this game so bad. If I was part of USC administration, because I don't want it to end on us losing 3 straight times, I say, okay, I give you whatever. I give you a long contract and we'll come play you in November. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the end. But so for me, I do want it to continue. Do I think it's going to continue? I don't think so, because if you remember the last one, by now at least the 2-year extension was signed. It's like they're not making any progress.
So let me ask you a question: Who do we put in that spot, providing that it doesn't work out?
In what spot?
In Notre Dame spot.
If it's gonna be played at this time of year, it just need to be a Big Ten team. Now, if
Yeah.
we talking about moving this game to the beginning of the year, maybe you can get another, you know what I'm saying, tune-up game or sub, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Out of Minnesota or somebody or whatever.
maybe like a San Diego State or something like that.
Yeah, or you can go, bigger than that and make it your third, like this year how we had Georgia Southern and Missouri State. It could have been that, move it to that third game and it be
Boise or somebody.
Yeah.
Or make it, like I said, make it either Boise State or San Diego State and put them before the UCLA game, and let that be your third out of conference game.
Or
that's the way the SEC do it.
We bring a rivalry back in state. Cal or Stanford.
Yeah, Cal or Stanford. I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Cal or Stanford. Somebody that we should play in the Pac-12 that we don't get to play them more. For one, we know if we alternate, we still ain't got to travel far. We already travel enough in the Big Ten. At least the game would be in state. If it's a home game or if it's Stanford, we ain't going too far, right? Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea, Chris. Make it a Cal or Stanford game. I like that. Bring one in.
He broke out. He froze. See there?
I'm there.
Oh, got me here too.
I think. But all right, that concludes our down series and our show. B Jinx, he back now. I just seen his head move. Definitely. Our next live, USC is on the bye this week, right? Yeah. B will talk. I need to check. We might do a live depending what time Nebraska play, like we did for Michigan on Saturday, and watch them and scout their next game. But our next game and our next actual live is going to be what is that date? I thought I had it on here.
I think it's the first.
It is the first, November the 1st. The time, November the 1st. The time hasn't come out yet. The game will be on FBS1. As soon as they release the time that game will be played in, we'll definitely get a YouTube update out as far as letting you know. Again, we'll go 30 minutes. Come on, 30 minutes before the game starts, and then we will hop on there and we'll do our thing, man. Be looking out for Wednesday. Our position grades group video will come out where we're from a Notre Dame game. I got my red pen out last week. My red pen went out, but hey, hey, I want to see if you back to being benevolent. We'll see. We'll see with today. But again, man, special shout out to Polly Walnuts for holding it down this weekend. Joining us on the live, also on the recap. We definitely appreciate it. Polly, go ahead and shout out your channels and your Impression channel as well.
Hey, I just want to can I just say something really quickly, man? First of all, I want to tell you guys thank you so much. It was so much fun. I look forward to being on here. I've been watching you guys. I've been listening to you guys since I first started calling shows. I've been calling radio shows since 1992. And I heard you guys talking, and I knew immediately you guys knew what you were talking about, and I took a liking to you guys. And
probably you didn't hear us talking in 1992.
No, when I finally started getting on the Trojan stuff. But anyway, hey, really quickly, just a quick thing to the Trojan fans is, listen, man, just try to trust in the process and understand, guys like me, I've been around for a long time. This university has given me so much in my life. I love it. It's who I am. I'm a Trojan for life. I don't want to have to go through another rebuild. I don't think any of us want to have to go through another rebuild. What I want us to just believe in the fact that, you know what? We have a guy right now that's made promises to us and is learning how to coach at a big-time program at the same time. Like, I look at him, when he took accountability last night, Lincoln never does that. He always says something else. But for him to just fall on the sword and say, you know what, man? It was a bad call on my play. I'm going to own this one. Whatever. That was a huge move for me. Just that little move right there. But everybody wants him fired, wants him gone. Who are we going to bring in? You want Houston Nutt? Billy Napier?
No.
What do you want Urban to come in? I mean, come on, people.
Well,
really think about it. Or if you want to bring a coach, in that's going to get us 10 wins a year and the poinsettia? No. Trust in it. We got the #1 recruiting class in the nation coming in. And then we got 27 is going to be on top of that as well. We're building for the future. We're building the right way. Just stay on path, be patient, and let's go ahead and trust in the process. You know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this is what we're dealing with. This is who we go to battle with every Saturday. And I'm happy when I wake up in the morning, I get to do a show with my boy Preston. I get to listen to my boys. I get to enjoy Trojan football. And you know what? I'm riding with these guys to the very end. This is who we are. This is what we got in front of us. And I'm with you guys. Fight on, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you joining us, Wally. I said Wally. Paulie
Right,
Walnuts. Hey, shout your channel out so they know.
It's calling the shots. Sorry, I had to get that out, man. Ooh, I feel so much better. Well, Calling the Shots podcast, Calling the Shots with Paulie Walnuts on YouTube. You can find me on there. And once again, it's Calling the Shots podcast with Paulie Walnuts. I'm getting started. I'm getting my StreamYard here. So we're going to start going live. We're going to start doing a lot of fun things on there. I got some really cool ideas that are coming up. So just stick with me. Shoot me messages, man. Let me know what's up and make sure to hit that subscribe. And I appreciate all of you, man. Fight on.
All right. B, you got anything before we get out of here?
Hey, man, I want to echo what you said. Hey, Paula, we appreciate you showing up for us yesterday. Chris was out, couldn't make it in. You came in, kept the energy up, kept the conversation going. So we appreciate that. Continue to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for whenever we drop new content. We pretty much have content, at least 2 videos coming every week. So, and our next live, if we don't come on this weekend for the, I can't remember who Nebraska is playing, but we'll come up with something. But other than that, that's pretty much it, Chris.
All right, man. Well, we definitely appreciate everyone, all your support. Like, share, subscribe, comment on the videos, man. And as always, till later on, Trojan family, we will bounce back and we're going to do it what we always do, which is fight on, fight on.
Fight on.